Plateau zai zama kamar mulkin sama. Plateau zai zama kamar mulkin sama. Muna bege zai zama kamar mulkin sama. Muna bege zai zama kamar mulkin sama. Oh Plateau, Plateau, oh Plateau, Plateau.
Life is indeed a journey, and we are all traveling inevitably towards the end of our lives, whether you like it or not. We will either course through life with no sense of direction, or we will leave our purpose and fulfillment. Now, the race is on. Where are you going, and what are you going to do about it? Hello, viewer. I'm glad you could join us on our Plateau Agenda, your favorite program, coming to you from our Rayfield studio here in Jos. I remain your regular host, Jabbe Wudetawo, and today on the program, which is the second segment, is a continuation of what we started last week. We had started talking about a very important topic this new year, 2025, that is a purpose-driven life. And I have with me back in the studios my guests who are here and did justice to questions being asked, and also you will agree with me, gave you an insight on how to live better lives. I have with me in the studio Lillian Yepwi. She is an actress and transformational speaker, content creator, author and scriptwriter, and producer and CEO, Apparel Production Concept. Thanks for joining us once again in the studio.
Thank you. It's nice being here again.
And someone who's becoming a regular face here on PRTVC, Pastor Daniel Nancwat Musa, Global Mission for Restoration and Integration. And he's also here, as he did last week, to tell us more on the spiritual angle. Thanks for joining us.
It's my pleasure. It's nice to be here.
All right. Now, the big question, viewer at home, is what is driving you? Now, everyone's life is driven by something. It could be either guilt, worry, or fear, insecurity, anger, resentment, their past, possessions, parents, money, etc., etc. Now, God wants us to be purpose-driven people, just as my guests have told you last week in the studio. And His purpose for our lives, that's why we're here, to learn more about them and to know the meaning and significance of this purpose in our lives. Now, still looking at a preamble or summary of what we discussed last week, before God even planned the world, He had planned you. That is what we heard here in the studio. And when He planned you, your purpose rather, even before you were born. When you fulfill your life purpose, it brings honor to God, and it brings satisfaction to yourself. It also brings progress and stability in the society. That is it. Now, we are going to be looking at the levels of living today, levels of living. We all live our lives at different levels. Now, for some, it is just survival. And the first level, which is the lowest level, is just the level of survival. Yes, most people live in survival mode, which is not the best for all of us. They get by on life and they are not really living, they're just existing. Now, I'll start with you, Lillian. Should we just survive?
Well, like you had already said, survival is the lowest form of living. So if you're just surviving, you're basically just passing through.
Okay.
Let me give, for example, as an actress, when you're acting, you're on stage, you have the main character, and then you have the extras. So if you're just surviving, you're basically an extra, filling other people's space. You're just there to help them achieve their purpose, and you're not. So they fulfill life, and you're just there. You're just watching. Time passes by, and at the end of the day, you don't tend to become who you should be. You don't live a purposeful driven life. You know, you don't achieve your purpose in life. So survival, like we said, is the lowest form of living. But then if you have to come out of that form, you have to be purposeful about it. You have to be intentional. You have to move from that cadre of surviving to some other steps of level of living. And those other steps could be, is the step that you would need to fulfill your purpose in life. Like I earlier said before, purpose is a reason why you are created. So if you know your reason the reason why you're living and the reason why you're created, why you're here on earth, you should not just be surviving, you should be living. And living are people that are success-driven people that know the reason why they are here on earth, people that have significance, people that have actually known their purpose for living. And so that is the level at which they are, the significant level, the level of existing, the level of fulfilling their purpose in life, the level of, not just being satisfied, but being fulfilled in life. Because if you're just satisfied, it is momentarily, just for a moment, and that moment passes by. So, but if you are fulfilled, every day you have a reason to wake up to do something. But if you're just satisfied, you actually, you just live life like that.
Well, yes, now I'll go back to Pastor Dan now. We looked at the lowest form of survival. That's the one that never really has the major goals or major driven purpose in life. And she came and talked about the second level, which is success level, where most people are in second level. They're a little higher than that of just survival, or we know, and focus is paying off or mortgage bills, just living the life of success, just ensuring that you're comfortable, your lifestyle is okay, and yet the level does not really satisfy you. Then we go to the other level, which is a level of significance, which is when you know why you are on earth. And you have a purpose for your life, just as you told us last week. You know that your life matters, that you are important to man and God, which is very important. And you know that there's a meaning behind what's going in your life. And people who enjoy significance know what they are here on earth to do. That's when you know you're significant. Now, juxtaposing these three levels we've talked about, that's level of survival or levels of living. Could you tell us more about it and expatiate more on this issue so that our people on the plateau will understand what purposeful living is really all about?
Okay, thank you very much. Wow. It's quite interesting. Yeah. To live a significant life, let me start from there. To live a significant life, you have to be goal-oriented. You have to be goal-oriented. We said something last week, which is very key that we repeat it, so that people listening to us will understand and make amends so they can be able to live a significant life. And that thing is identity. You must know who you are. You must know why you are created. Like she quoted, and I call her a pastor, she quoted Jeremiah 1:5 for us.
Yes.
Before we even form in the womb, God gave us we have a mandate. No man is a mediocrity. We shouldn't live a mediocritic life. No one is. So when you are on that level of just living, anything that comes your way, you just sleep, you wake up, you don't have a goal, you don't think what tomorrow holds for you, you don't make things happen, rather things happen to you. That's not a fulfilled life. And nobody is satisfied at that level. No matter how you see them live, they are not truly satisfied. Now you go to the next level and you are able to just struggle to pay your bills. You're able to just barely get to eat today and trust God for the next meal. Okay, you're just struggling to survive. But you see, you must be intentional. That word is very key. if you must live a purposeful life. You must be intentional. You must be deliberate. You must be cautious. You must know. You must put your mind to work. Today is gone. What have I been able to do today? What have I been able to achieve today? Oh, I've not been able to do this, so I'll see how I can achieve that tomorrow.
Okay.
I've not been able, I've been able to do this, but I didn't get the required goal. I was supposed to have like 5 points here, but I ended up having 3 points. What did I not do right? Why am I falling short of my target? And then to the next day, you begin to work on it. So when you have to live a significant life, you have to live a progressive life. You must be progressive in your thinking. You must be progressive in your actions. You must be progressive in your methodology. You must be progressive in everything that you do. You might decide to say, okay, maybe I didn't get the right contacts. Let me change contacts tomorrow. Sometimes you might not really get it at a goal, but you see, you don't give up on it. So for you to live a significant life, you must be persevere. You must be perseverant. Right? You must persevere, you must press on. You must press on, you don't give up. If you don't get it right this time, you give it another shot the next time. Do some little changes. Do some little samplings. You can even do, like marketers do what they call pre-market survey.
Okay.
Yeah, you can go ahead and sample. And then from whatever you are able to deduce, it will help you put your points together and have a precise target. So when you're going for your target, you don't have too much of excesses to lose.
All right.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
I
But
would want
before you
to-
add to that,
I would
okay, you want
draw-
to chip in something
yes,
small, okay?
You know, living a significant life,
Okay.
a person with significance,
Yeah.
is actually the person whom the story is all about.
That's right.
Like I would go back as an actress again on set, where you have the villain, the hero, and the extras. The story is really about there is a problem, but then there's a villain who comes to fight or stop whatever the solution is. But then there's that hero that ensures that it doesn't end with that. There is a solution that has to be. So people with significance are actually the heroes. So if you want a story and you want to be a significant person, the story has to be about you. You have to intentionally write your story. And how do you write your story? Like we had said, find the purpose. When you have found your purpose, you work on the purpose. You intentionally take steps, as he has taken, on working on your purpose. You have to be deliberate about it. You have to write, like yesterday I was going through the activities I'd had through the week till today, and I realized that, most of the things I've been doing throughout this week has been activities, not actually pursuing my purpose. So I halted. I'm like, okay, rewrite that story and pick up from where you missed it. Sometimes we miss it.
Yeah.
And the thing about significant people is that, just like the scripture says, write down the vision so that they that read it may run with it. So even when you are working on purpose, you're a significant person, you have to write it down. And that is why when you read books about purpose, about people that have made it in life, they keep telling you, write it, because you miss it. And if you don't go back to the drawing board, you will miss it. Like I said, I had to take back myself. This week has just been activities from one activity to the other. But how did I intentionally, or how am I intentionally working out to get to where I'm going to, that I've planned for the next 5 years, for the next 10 years, for the next 1 month or 2 months, or for 2025. In the third month, I should be here. But I just realized that this week has been activities. I've missed on my plans. So you have to intentionally write your own story. You have to work it out. If not, you cannot be a significant person. You'll just be among those, like we had said, just basically surviving. And you fill up the space for the ones whom the story is all about to achieve their purpose, because it's just like you're a catalyst in the story. To just help them.
Very interesting. Well, viewer, if you're just joining us, this is Plateau Agenda, and we're setting the agenda for the year with teaching about how to live a purposeful life, a purpose-driven life, so that we can make the right impact in our lives and in that of our beautiful society on the plateau. That's just. Now, the benefits of a purpose-driven life is what we're going to look at now, gentlemen and lady. Now, there are so many benefits that I know, if we just from what you've mentioned, that we could gain by living purpose-driven lives. But I'm going to check some bullet points of which we're going to discuss sharply here in the studio. Now, let's look at one. It says, the benefits of living a purpose-driven life. It helps to reduce frustration. A sense of purpose makes daily decision easier. That's just what she was talking about.
That's right.
And then it increases motivation. A sense of purpose-driven lives gives you a reason to get up in the morning and take on to something, which you talked about, Pastor Dan. Now, it creates concentration also. A sense of purpose enables you to focus and avoid distractions, just as she said, distractions, activities. Now, it prepares us all for elevations, as a sense of purpose prepares us for the eternal audit of God, and He will ask us on that day. It says an internal audit, when God will ask each person two important questions. Their talents He's given us. What did you do with it, my son?
That's right.
Jesus Christ will ask you. What did you do with all the talents I have given you? And then it also attracts cooperation, and a sense of purpose also attracts other people to your life.
That's right.
Which is very important. Now, looking at these points I've mentioned, let me start with you, Dan. Now, how can we work towards achieving these benefits as an individual?
Okay. Let's start by saying that a purpose-driven life is an impactful life.
All right.
Yeah, let's start from there. Now, and if you must impact, you must be impactful, then that means you must have achievable goals.
Okay.
And those goals are not set by anybody other than yourself. You have to set the goals for yourself based on your passion, which is actually the purpose for which you are created. You must have a flair for something. And that thing you have a flair for it is what you find yourself doing. Now, let me take myself for an example. In my growing up age, I never thought I would become a pastor, you know. So, but I discovered that I was given to talking.
Talking, yes. Talkative.
I was an MC. I did MCing at different levels from across the Plateau to Lagos, where I lived basically most of my growing up years. And I discovered that I was always talking. When there's anything, it's me they call to address.
Okay.
So, okay, let Daniel address the people. He can present the matter better. I never knew, but that was an inclination to my purpose.
Okay.
That was an inclination to my calling, this one that I've answered now. This is the fulfillment of those ones. Those ones were preamble. They were just an indication to my purpose, where I'm going to. So it's like that. And if we're not careful to follow that free will, that feeling, that flair, that passion, if we're not careful to follow it well, we might miss out on it. Now, she said something very profound. She said she discovered that her week was full of activities. Now, it's not as if the activities were not important. They are actually important, but not for her set goals. So sometimes we could be carried away with activities that are actually important activities, but they are not meeting our set goals. Thereby, we are not fulfilling our purpose.
Okay, that's interesting.
So there are a lot of people that have their hands full of activities, but yet they come back at the end of the day and they discover that they are unfulfilled. They are not satisfied, which is what leads to frustration, addiction, and some other vices that we find in the society today. But thank God that like she said something before we came on live. Plateau is green, right?
It's green.
Yeah, you can see. The guests are in the street. We're not from the same place. Please, we're not from the same place. We came in differently. We didn't talk before coming. So this green is not just a coincidence. It's speaking volume on what is happening on the Plateau. And that's to say that 2025 is going to be a productive year for the people on the Plateau.
Amen.
I can see it already coming, you know. So it's going to be a productive life. So we must be intentional and we must be passionate about what we feel, about how we feel it, and our set goals and how we pursue them. Now, that will actually help. I've said it will help reduce frustration, addiction, and some other social vices that are found, most especially within the youth. Why is it so prevalent within the youth? One, you can discover that the youth have the strength, they have the energy, and they have the mental ability to be able to run round. They can run round mentally and do a lot of things within a short period of time. That's why it's so...
Herein lies the need to channel that energy in the right
appropriately.
direction.
Now, they have to do what is called discovering your purpose.
All right.
And this studio, this program, Plateau Agenda, is not going to be enough for us to do that. Thereby calls for the need for collaboration and partnership with other organizations that are out there. We can stand as pivots to rally around government. We want to cry out to the government. We need your input in this. If we must make Plateau youth productive, more than what we are seeing. We're not saying that Plateau youth are not productive, but we want to be more productive.
Of course.
We want to be more purpose-driven in 2025.
Yes.
We want to set goals and at the end of the year, see that these goals are achieved. But we must start by being intentional and deliberate. We need to talk to people. We need to talk to youth. We need to talk to parents. We need to talk to pastors. We need to talk to captains of industries. We need to really set a goal and say, this is where we're headed this year, 2025. This is what we want to achieve at the end of this year, 2025. Now, let me interject by saying this here. We might not end up having a very huge result at the end of the month or the end of the year. But listen, let me say this. It's progressive. If we're able to set even just a running goal this year, and next year we set another phase, by the end of, let's give it a target, 3 years, 5 years, and before you know it, we're making a huge success and progress.
Yeah, no, thank you. Lillian, one thing that interests me in this benefits of a purpose-driven life is this. Dan just talked about it even earlier. It creates a concentration and attracts cooperation. A sense of purpose attracts other people to your life and to help and get involved in changing our society and communities. Yes. So, cooperation. He talked about living a life, taking our youths off the streets, taking them off vices. What other ways can we work towards achieving this as we cap up on the program?
Yeah, this is one of the ways.
Okay.
Talking about it.
Talking about it, okay.
Talking about it.
That's right.
And ensuring that people hear.
Okay.
Yes. Apart, like he said, cooperating with other organizations. And I think as individuals, we should intentionally, as parents, as individuals, we should intentionally work on it in the lives of not just as persons or individuals, in the lives of our children and the people around us. And we have organizations and people that are out there that have the monies and the channel to be able to create avenues for youth to do a lot of things, for them to talk about. If we have, and on one other thing, if we really want to achieve this purpose and to make it a lot easier, if we can inculcate this in our schools.
Okay.
Exactly.
There are some things that we do not have in our curriculum, but if we can just talk about it, you just give a subject, purpose-driven life, in schools, in curriculum. If people, organizations can go back to schools, the primary schools, the secondary schools, the universities, all these will help our youth and people build up. And I think that is one central area, because you find them most in such organization, the youth, even the elderly, so if we can get that inculcated in their everyday life and they keep hearing it, I tell you, there is no way you keep saying and saying and saying and saying and talking about a thing that you will not drop a seed.
Lasting impression.
And the moment you drop that seed, the person will like, I think I need to do something about myself.
All right.
So I think it's very, very important if we can put this in our schools, or people intentionally just go into schools and start teaching our youths about it. Wherever you are, just talk about it.
This is really an interesting
Yes.
topic, and just as Dan said, there's a lot of collaboration that needs to be done, and I'm of the school of thought that it is achievable.
It is. It
yeah,
is.
it
It
is.
is.
And
It is.
having people with this kind of minds coming together
Yeah.
to work together will, in the long run, help in developing a better society and helping us live a purpose-driven life. Once again, Pastor Daniel Nancwat Musa, Global Missions for Restoration, Integration, and Development Incorporated, JOS. Thanks for joining us. And thanks for lending your voice to this very important cause.
It's my calling. I owe it to the society.
All right. Lillian Yepwi, actress, transformational speaker, script writer, content creator, well, so much. Producer and CEO, Apparel Productions Concepts. Thanks for always being available.
Thank you for having
And
me.
thanks for speaking on behalf of the ladies.
Thank you.
Always protecting the rights of women, right? Well, viewer, in conclusion, I would say that run your race, balance your life, pace your life, and renew yourself daily. And please, let's try and deal with discouragement. Let's not give up in life. Plateau people, let's keep the peace. I remain your regular host, Jabbe Wudetawo, on behalf of the production crew, saying do join us again next week for another very informative and educative edition. Bye-bye and enjoy the rest of our programs.
Plateau zai zama kamar mulkin sama. Plateau zai zama kamar mulkin sama. Muna bege zai zama kamar mulkin sama. Muna bege zai zama kamar mulkin sama. Oh Plateau, Plateau, oh Plateau, Plateau.